Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, GORO just filed an 8K, and I am seeing a major shareholder vote that paves the way for a big change. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. Shareholders have voted yes on a merger, and this could completely reshape Gold Resource Corporation. So what we have here is a Form 8, which is basically a company's way of telling the public about big, important events that aren't regular financial reporting. And for Gold Resource Corporation, ticker symbol GORO. The big news is happening today, the 2nd of July 2026. The main point of this filing is to report the results of a special meeting where shareholders voted on some pretty significant proposals. Essentially, the company held a shareholder meeting back on the 2nd of July 2026, and most importantly, they are announcing the outcome of the votes. Let's look at the numbers. As of May 26, there were over 163 million shares of Gold Resource Corporation stock out there, all able to vote. And at this meeting, about 101 million shares, or roughly 62% of all outstanding shares, were represented. This shows a pretty good turnout, meaning the decisions made here really reflect a significant portion of the ownership. Now, the most critical part, Proposal 1. This was about a merger agreement, specifically an arrangement agreement and plan of merger, dated the 25th of January 2026. This agreement is between Gold Resource Corporation, a company called Goldgroup Mining Incorporated, and a subsidiary of Goldgroup called Merger Sub. The plan is for Merger Sub to merge with and into Gold Resource Corporation. After the merger, Gold Resource Corporation would continue to exist, but as a wholly owned subsidiary of Goldgroup. Think of it as Gold Resource Corporation becoming a part of the bigger Goldgroup family. 96,312,452,4681 294,189, and the shareholders voted overwhelmingly in favor of this merger. We see a massive 96 million votes for this proposal against just over 4.6 million against, and a small number of abstentions. This is a clear signal that the shareholders are on board with this deal. Next up is Proposal 2. This one is essentially a thumbs up or thumbs down vote on the compensation that the company's top executives might receive because of this merger. It is an advisory vote, meaning it is not legally binding, but it does send a strong message to the board and management about how shareholders feel about these executive payouts tied to the deal. 95,103,652 5359,362 824,868. Again, the shareholders supported this proposal with over 95 million votes for indicating they are comfortable with any merger, related compensation for the named executive officers. Finally, there was Proposal 3, an adjournment proposal. This is usually a fallback if there is not enough information or votes to make decisions on the main proposals. However, since the first two proposals passed so strongly, they did not even need to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. The company also issued a press release on the 2nd of July 2026 to announce that the merger proposal was approved. They've included this press release as an exhibit to this filing. Regulation FD, or fair disclosure, is all about making sure that important information is shared with everyone at the same time, not just a select few. So, by issuing this press release and filing it, they are making this merger approval public knowledge. And as is standard for these filings, they list the exhibits included. The most important one here is Exhibit 99.1, which is that news release dated the 2nd of July 2026, announcing the shareholder approval. So let's put this into perspective. Gold Resource Corporation, trading as GORO, is in the basic materials sector, specifically in other precious metals and mining. It has a market cap of around $208 million. Recently, there has been a lot of news around GORO, including headlines about this very merger getting shareholder approval. There was also an investor alert from Khan, Swick and Foti LLC investigating the price and process of a proposed sale of the company, which suggests some shareholders might have had concerns about the deal terms. What this filing tells us is that the shareholders have given the green light to the merger with Goldgroup Mining Inc. This is a pretty substantial vote of confidence, especially when considering that a significant majority of shareholders, as represented by their shares voted, are in favour. This means the merger is likely to proceed as planned, meaning Gold Resource Corporation will become a subsidiary of Goldgroup Mining. Looking back at similar situations when smaller companies merge, especially when one entity is being acquired, it can go in a few different directions. Sometimes it is a positive step towards greater efficiency and resources. Other times, however, the acquiring company might not integrate the acquired business effectively, or the promised synergies don't materialize. It's important to remember that shareholder approval is just one step. The actual integration and the subsequent performance of the combined entity will be the real test. Considering the P/E ratio of 25.4 and the current price of $1.27. The market seems to have some expectations built into GORO stock. The historical context of companies that undergo such mergers can be varied. We've seen some successfully integrate and grow, while others struggle to find their footing post-merger. For instance, some SPAC mergers in the past have seen significant declines after the initial announcement. But this is a direct merger, not a SPAC. The fact that shareholders are supporting this merger, especially after potential concerns raised by law firms like Kahn, Swick and Foti, suggests they likely believe the terms offered are fair, or that the future prospects under Goldgroup are more promising than operating independently. The high approval rate for both the merger and the executive compensation proposal indicates a degree of alignment between the company's leadership and its major owners on this strategic move. My biggest concern with a merger like this is always the execution. Will Goldgroup be able to effectively integrate Gold Resource Corporation's operations and leverage its assets? The investor alert from Kahn, Swick and Foti is something to keep an eye on as well, as it points to potential dissatisfaction among some shareholders regarding the deal's fairness, or the process itself. However, today's filing clearly shows that the majority has spoken. What I am seeing here is a significant shift in the corporate structure of Gold Resource Corporation. The shareholders have voted to approve the merger, effectively agreeing to become part of Goldgroup Mining Inc. This is the main story from this filing. The voting results are overwhelmingly positive for the merger, signaling shareholder approval for this major corporate change. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. For more insights like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and join our Discord community linked in the description.